In the small, bustling town of Everwood, nestled between rolling hills and shimmering lakes, lived an elderly man named Mr. Whitaker. He was a retired school teacher, known for his wisdom and kindness. Despite his age, Mr. Whitaker still had a youthful spark in his eyes, a glimmer that seemed to carry the mysteries of life. Every afternoon, he would sit on his front porch, sipping on herbal tea as he watched the world go by. Children would play in the street, their laughter echoing through the air, while adults bustled about, engulfed in their daily chores. Mr. Whitaker, however, sat serenely, observing everything with a gentle smile. One day, a young woman named Lisa, who had recently moved to Everwood, stopped by to introduce herself. She had heard tales of Mr. Whitaker's wisdom and thought it might be refreshing to converse with someone who had seen so much of life. "Hello, Mr. Whitaker," she greeted cheerfully. "I'm Lisa, your new neighbor. I hope it's all right that I'm here. I've heard you offer the best advice in town." Mr. Whitaker smiled warmly. "Of course, my dear. It's lovely to meet you. What thoughts weigh on your mind today?" Lisa sighed deeply, sitting down in the empty chair next to him. "It feels like I'm always rushing," she began. "No matter how much I accomplish, there's always more waiting. The pressure to succeed, to be perfect, feels so overwhelming sometimes. It's as if the joy of living has been overshadowed by the constant need to do more." Mr. Whitaker nodded knowingly, taking a thoughtful sip of his tea before responding. Life indeed has a way of making busyness feel like progress. But let me share a story that has always helped me when the noise of urgency clouds the essence of life." He leaned back in his chair, eyes far away, as if drawing memories from the ether. "Once upon a time, in a village much like ours, lived a famous gardener named Alara. She cultivated the most beautiful and bountiful garden anyone had ever seen. People came from far and wide just to see it. One day, a traveling monk visited the village and, like others, admired Alara's work. Curiously, though, he asked her, "Do you not tire from tending to this garden, always striving for perfection?" Alara smiled and replied, "The secret is not in striving for perfection, but in finding joy in the imperfection. You see, I don't just tend the plants, I live with them, learn their stories, and adapt with them. It's not about what I achieve here. It's about the journey I embark with every seed I plant." The monk was pleased with her answer and went on his way, sharing Alara's wisdom wherever he traveled. Mr. Whitaker turned his gaze back to Lisa. "The essence, my dear, is to embrace the imperfections, to find joy not merely in the destination, but in the journey itself. That's the reflection that shifts life, making every moment a masterpiece, not because of what it achieves, but because of what it means in the grand orchestration of life." Lisa sat silently for a moment, the weight of her anxieties slowly lifting as Mr. Whitaker's words settled in her mind. A new perspective began to take root, one that promised peace and fulfillment not through endless achievement, but through mindful living.